Hello there, my bony friends, and welcome to another start to finish raw Skull run through where I show you guys what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, because more than a few of you are still asking me for advice on what to do when your runs don't go the way that you want, or what to kind of do with some skulls and certain items in certain situations, you know. They just want to know what I think and why I think it. So let me get the restart going once again, just so you can see that there's nothing shady going on. And at the very beginning, I will say that I'm hoping, oh, Warrior, that could be a fun run, that some of you have at the very least a little bit of quartz under your belt from going out and doing some runs, because I will always say the 10 extra quartz that you spend at the Fox and the Ogre, or the extra item and extra skull, are always worth it. Now, the items are a little bit less so, but the skulls are always worth, because on the bright side, at best case scenario, you'll get some skulls that you want to use. Worst case scenario, bones. So that's always good because you can get a head start. Let's assume that I don't want to use the warrior or the recruit. That's 10 bones from the warrior, 5 bones from the recruit, well, 11 technically. So you've got a good head start on fragments for whatever you do want to use. For example, I wouldn't mind using the warrior. I'm going to leave the recruit behind because I like taking little skull boy. I'm going to get a nice 5 head start to my fragments. Now, with the items from the ogre, you can get the same kind of benefit. The staff isn't really something I care about on a warrior run because we're looking for physical damage, not magical. So at worst, it would be 352 extra gold for me. Now, there is a caveat to that in order to gain this benefit of extra gold, you need to have the alchemy, the ancient alchemy trait unlocked at the witch. At 1 level out of 2, you're going to get half the amount that you would otherwise get, and at 2, you get the full amount that you would get. It says up to 842 gold because that's how much a legendary item sells for. If you don't have the alchemy upgrade, maybe the ogre giving you a second item isn't always a benefit. If I wasn't able to sell the stuff, then it's just incentivizing me to do a magic run. You can do that. You can just decide I'm going to do a magic run instead. Now, the druid here gives you a nice passive buff. For the purposes of this run, I'm not going to take it. Now, the passive buff normally only lasts for the first act anyway. You can't take it into further acts afterwards. It just helps you get through the first act a bit easier and a bit quicker. Now, the immediate first question that I get asked about taking rooms is, what do? Now, I've answered this before, but I'll do it again. It doesn't matter. It entirely comes down to what you want to do. As with me and my stuff that I make on YouTube, I always do things more skull-focused. So I would normally take skull rooms to get my little boys upgraded into their higher forms ASAP. But other people will and can, and there's no reason not to, take item rooms in the beginning. Because rather than make their skulls a higher rarity, they want to get more items so that they can perform better earlier. And then later on start selling them off to get more gold back. It's a matter of preference. There really isn't a right or wrong answer to this. The only thing I will say is that 9 out of 10 situations, if you're presented with one of these 2 rooms and the opposite is a plain gold room, I would always take a skull or an item room over a plain gold room, unless your skulls are already fully upgraded, and there's really no reason to take skull rooms anymore. That's the only situation where I would say that is the case. Now, we're going to fly right in here in our skull room, because like I said, I prefer taking skull rooms first. That's just the way that I prefer to play. You can and should break the totems as you're doing combat, because they'll help out a lot, especially the shield one. Speaking of shield one, shield skull, let him be destroyed, taking another skull room to keep getting fragments, provided that I can get to at least 30 in Act 1 so we can upgrade Warrior to a unique. That'd be pretty good. Now, I do need to say that, yes, getting Warrior from the Fox NPC at the start is good luck. However, you can find rare skulls in your run in like Act 1 and 2. I don't think too many people are going to be bothered by the fact that I started off with a rare already. All I'm really doing is just shortcutting how many fragments I need. And by this point, I mean, hell, we could have done a water skull run right here by finding him. And that would have been a very powerful run doing a water run. Since water is, you know, an S tier awesome boy and all that. Cruise through, do some destruction with these explosives. Use your environment to your advantage. Explosive crates, etc. are all here for a reason. They make really, really good work of getting rid of some of these annoying enemies. And as we progress through, I've had to take an item room here. We'll take this sword. Sword helps out with our build. It's actually a really nice thing to get here. We have no muns, no money, nothing. Now, a tip that I don't do nearly as often as I should do, right? I just don't do it. Because I'm either forgetful or because I really like to use basic skull. Little basic skull to me is actually like as good as a unique, in my opinion, when built correctly. Even with just the regular basic staff and his Skull Toss and Rebone combination, to me, he does amazing damage. And if you've used him and played him or watched videos before about how I play with Little Skull, you'll know that he's actually quite strong. So when people always say, why didn't you swap out Little Skull at the headless guy? That's normally the reason why. However, for most people who are looking to build a run with an actual Skull that isn't Little Basic Boy, it is very much worth your while to trade him out as soon as you can at the headless Knight guy in a shop, because all you're doing is benefiting that way. Little Basic Skull does not sell for any fragments whatsoever, so even if I were to trade him out at a normal room with a skull in it, I'm not going to get fragments from that. Which means giving him to the headless guy is the best trade for economy. I was about to say economics. It's the best economic trade for you, because now at the very least, if I get rid of Ent, I get 5 fragments. And I can always trade up or trade down, it doesn't matter. But I've made a trade that benefits. Plus, Ent is also a physical skull, so he synergizes better with my warrior build. So if I do need to swap out to Ent for a few hits, it's not going to be a problem. Coming into the adventurer fight, it's good old Mingurik of Dragon Tree. Haven't seen him in a long time. It's been years, dude. How have you been? I'm just going to drop all my grass down. It's been a while since I've used Ent for realies. I know the grass isn't really doing anything here, but I'm just dropping it, dude, because I'm never going to use it otherwise. Now, he's down. Rewards time. Carleon Recruit, the Sphinx, and the Insignia. Now, this is a tricky one, because what we have here is I could trade the Recruit with Ent and still get my 5 fragments regardless. This is an example of what I was talking about. If I wanted to take Recruit and I had Skull with me still, I wouldn't get any fragments because Little Skull doesn't break for anything. However, in this situation, this comes down to what you prefer. If this was a rare or above Skull that gave me, 10 fragments or more, I would take that because I could guarantee get Little Warrior to unique. However, I have to bear in mind that I have 2 Carleon items in my inventory. Even though the staff is not doing anything for us combat-wise, besides Empire, but no one really cares about Empire, I have to consider that money is very, very, very good in the early game, and getting an Insignia with at least 3 Carleons is very, very, very nice to help my economy, because I don't take as many money rooms early on in the run. I take mostly skull rooms. This is an example of what I was talking about at the beginning. I have an item room and I have a gold room in front of me. Now, if you don't have the alchemy trait maxed out at the witch and you are specifically chasing gold, that's what this room is for. Because if you take an item room and you get something you don't like, say the root, bottled embers, or you're doing a physical run and you get given a magic staff, that's effectively a waste, right? So I guess in that situation, yes, you do want to take gold rooms, but as soon as you get any degree of alchemy, those regular gold rooms become more or less superfluous. I wouldn't mind if Southpaw took a look into that and maybe gave those gold rooms something else that they could provide besides just the raw gold, like maybe a higher chance to encounter the special rare rooms. I'm not sure, something, but basically, once again, here we are in this situation. We got the Ancient Incense, helps us with quintessences. Don't have one right now, but we might find one soon. Gold room versus skull room. I'm after the skull room. Let's move in through here. Take out these dudes. A nice big wave room of annoying wave boys. Absolutely love taking care of these guys for the quadrillionth time after hours upon hours upon hours of hunting for legendary skulls in Act 1 and having to go through all of Act 1's rooms so much. I pray that you guys get to at least see other areas of the game a lot more. We're getting some nice swamp procs right there. Swamp is actually not bad for taking care of regular enemies. Never sleep on Swamp's ability to cleave through the masses. Is he gonna die? Nice! That poison damage is so small, by the way. I'm so glad that there's going to be a new update coming out that's going to increase the status effect usability. Little shield boy. I could take him as well. Instead, what's that? Shield bash? Oh, that's the parry. The parry's not bad, actually. You know what? I might swap out little Ent and take the shield. This leaves me at exactly the same level of fragments. It doesn't matter. They both sell for the same. I'm just picking up shield because I like him. However, here we are given... here we are given an actual trade that matters, because Little Shield will sell for 5 fragments, whereas Hunter will sell for 10. So, technically, if I make this trade and then destroy Hunter later for something that's less, like if I find another 5 fragment skull, I've technically traded up and made a gain in how many fragments I have. So I'm going to trade the weaker skull that I don't care about in this run for the more expensive skull that, granted, I still don't care about, but I'll still take anyway. Now, we have no money. That's one of the drawbacks to being so skull hungry in the beginning of your runs. I don't care about the quintessence. I'm going to save my cash for items that I'm valuing higher, and we will just move on and deal with things as we go. Hopefully find some good skulls as we move forward that I can use to get some more fragments, or even just swap the build out. I have not committed 100% to using warrior. This is not one of those runs where I've chosen who I'm going to use at the very beginning. Rejuvenating root. Ugh, yuck, gross, useless to me. Absolutely not a great item to take for me at this point. For you it might be, though. For you it might be. It's genuinely there to help. I don't think, outside of me deliberately wanting it to trigger and standing in spikes, I don't think I've actually kept the root long enough to see it trigger. That's how little I use the root, is that I don't see it occur, ever. Get shot, dude. Shot in the face. Fragments, we have Gargoyle. Now, Gargoyle is mostly magic. I'm going to let him sit there and be destroyed. We're going to move through and come and deal with Yggdrasil. My goodness, this has taken a while. I apologize for the length of this one, but I guess it's just the nature of the beast. Normally, I'm at Yggdrasil within like 4 or 5 minutes, but I feel like it's been a little bit longer than that. Now, Yeggs. We're going to take care of Mr. Yiggies, and then once Mr. Yiggies is taken care of, also be mindful that it is harder to avoid attacks in general with power skulls, but you know, we have to live with that playing with the warrior. Get some. We're also not doing massive damage, but that's a good thing. The last thing I want is to just be overpowered too early so that we don't get a good indicator of damage and viability early on, you know? Stop that. Stop that. Take that. Get him in the face. Yiggs is a cool fight. In my original guide, he didn't have a phase 2, and I had people saying, hey, what do I do about phase 2? It's like the same thing you do in phase 1, just move quicker. It's just faster. There we go. Yiggs goes down. Now, if I'm lucky, he'll give me the World Tree Seed. If I'm not lucky, he'll give me his barrier item. Anything else is preferable. Except that. Mithril Armor is good for money, but it's not good for my build. It's very much a dash build. Pike is the main dude who wants this. Now, do I want to stick with the warrior? Here's my opportunity to decide. We have hunter, we have warrior. I have enough fragments to make one of them unique. I could, if I wanted to, just settle and go, yes, I'm going to do that now. However, I'm quite confident in my ability to get up to and defeat the adventurers in Act 2. If you're not confident, pick someone, upgrade them, try and go in on a build, because the further you push yourself in your runs, the more quartz you get. I've just recently broken over 3 million quartz. Believe me, it is far more efficient to just do runs and push as far as you can each run. It's not really worth your while to reset runs at Act 1. If you have the opportunity to go further, go further. However, because I'm confident in being able to get up to and beat the second adventurer fight with just rare skulls, I'm going to instead save and bide my time, because if I do find someone else that I'd rather use in the meantime, I'm going to regret having spent a whopping 30 fragments to upgrade someone that I may not end up keeping. And along comes the Harpy lady here to help me with my fragment situation. Now, can we trigger the extra enemies? I just shot a big chunk of arrows right into that guy's shield like a dum-dum. You gonna come back, lady? You gonna come back here? Of course you are. Get shot in the face. We need to free the Harpy girl. She's gonna give us a big chunk of fragments to help us push towards 100 a bit quicker. I'm gonna get the draft stone. More items that I don't really want to get, of course. Shoot this guy in the face. Do some of this. And, of course, use the environment. Use your spikes. The spikes here are really effective at getting guys killed. They'll also attack each other if you line them up so. If I run along here, they'll charge in through the spikes, killing themselves. Easy peasy. What do we have here? We have the Alchemist with Plague Flask. I'm also not thinking about doing a Plague Flask Alchemist run, so I will leave. Now, here's a negative trade. You don't want to give up a 10-fragment skull for a 5-fragment skull. That's just not worth your while. Unless you're, you know, especially looking for a recruit. for your run, then go ahead. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that you can't do a recruit run, but still, I'm not going to do that. Now, we have a little bit of money to play with. I don't care about any of those items. I can see that on average, we've got rare items going for about 1,200 to 1,300. We've got commons going for as low as 1,100 or so. Now, with me losing 390 from my pool of gold, I can still afford whatever they show on average, right? So I'm going to take that trade and see what we get. Now, the Priestess's Veil is very nice. Works with all builds because the damage increase isn't exclusive to one type. The speed increase, the attack speed, the movement speed, as well as damage reduction, all of it's really good. It's very handy for pretty much everyone. And since I'm kind of weak on items right now, I may as well grab it, you know? I may as well do it. Moving forward, we only have an item room versus a money room, so you know what I'm going to do is take that item room, come in here and deal with one of the first major problem rooms that people ever had in Skul. These days, Act 4 has a lot of problems, Act 3 has a few. This, the maid room, the room that's just chock full of maids, as you can see with me getting a lot of damage right there, thanks to me being stubborn and wanting to just swing into damage. This was the room that used to kill people a lot. In fact, my very first guide on Skul, which was based on difficult enemies in the game, centered around maids as one of the core problems that people had to deal with back when there were only 3 acts in the game. Item is Voodoo Doll. The Voodoo Doll does something, and I mean, the root doesn't really do much for me, so I'll ditch it and take the Voodoo Doll. Hopefully won't need to rely on Voodoo Doll's effect, if we're lucky. I mean, that'd suck if we end up losing our life nice and early, but it's there, and worst case scenario, we'll just sell it, and we'll get some money. Plus, the necromancy on it is pretty nice. As you saw right there, it does a good job of getting rid of dudes for me. We have Little Gravy. Now, what I could do is trade out the Hunter for Gravy right here, and we'll get 10 fragments instead of 5, which will push us over the 80 limit. But I kind of like having Hunter's physical damage with me right now, just in case we get more physical items. So I'm going to move forward and come into the adventurer fight. And deal with Elysia. Always take care of your healers first. First golden rule of any RPG, any combat situation, deal with the healers first. It's no different in this one. She will be casting buffs. She'll be casting heal over times. She helps her party out a lot. She's actually quite active as a healer. She does a good... Okay, this guy is all about balls, alright? Stop it, sir. She's all about helping her friend. He's all about balls. Get rid of her. She'll teleport around. Just deal with her. You can dash into projectiles to get rid of them on the screen. You can see me doing that now. She's down. Fantastic. Sir, I would appreciate it if you weren't so ball intensive, alright? All you're doing is balls. Balls, balls, balls. Stop it. Avoid that by staying in the air. Swap out. Use your swaps. Use your swaps. You actually get a surprisingly large amount of burst damage from Skul's swapping abilities as well as their use abilities. So right now, effectively, I have a cooldown. Let's say, for example, I've just done this. Unless your basic attack damage is so high that it's not worth it, it's normally worth your while to swap out, get that extra swap attack, and then a skill attack. And then before you know it, your swap is off cooldown, and you can swap out again and do the same in reverse. That is Balrog. That is a legendary quintessence. It changes us into the Balrog form. You know what my issue with this is? It would completely change the run, and it would take away the essence of me building a run because we'd be getting a lot of Balrog shenanigans. That's not what I want to do for this video. I apologize to all of you Balrog enthusiasts. You can check out the video where I did an all Balrog run where I got so much cooldown reduction for my quintessence that I was able to stay a Balrog constantly. In the meantime, we're doing this run where I'm going to destroy the genie for those 11 fragments and move on. Now, we are at that situation again where I have a lot of fragments, and do I want to upgrade my Skul? I'm thinking at this point, I haven't found anything else I want to use. I'm going to upgrade him to unique. Because I have more fragments, at 59 fragments thanks to the Harpy Lady, and thanks to some good luck on some rares. We're not looking too shabby on fragments. Plus now I get a second ability. I always like to upgrade my Skuls. I only have one ability to at least get 2, so if I was doing a Hunter run, I'd want to upgrade him as soon as possible so he gets more than 1 ability. More abilities, more damage, more viability, more things you can do. It's just nice. Plus they get their extra effects. It's good, dude. It's good. We've got a Skull room versus an item room. My Skul is not legendary yet, so once again, I'm going to continue to push the limit. And we can start doing some of Warrior Skul's fun concentrating effects now. And rely on some necromancy to help us out here. an armor totem. I don't want these big boys downstairs to have all this armor. They've already got enough damage and enough big bodiness at their disposal. Bam, hit him with the nonsense. Bam, hit him with the nonsense. Warrior, for any of you who aren't aware, has an armor property where as he's throwing out his concentrated attacks, he can't take damage. It's really, really nice. It gets a little bit, it takes a bit of time to get used to it, you know, but once you get used to it, it's really strong and makes him one of the better survival skulls out there. Mr. Genie. The Genie tackle is actually kind of nice. The only problem is I don't really like Genie's swap or his dashes, so I'm going to let Genie be destroyed instead of swapping out Hunter, and we're going to move in and take care. Look at that. No damage. All those guys took a swing at me, but I took no damage. It's amazing. It's almost like Warrior got a really, really nice change in that update that I like a lot and makes Warrior an S tier skull, in my opinion. Get some more damage here. You can also concentrate his basic attacks. For example, and does some decent deeps. I'm waiting for that big guy to start moving forward so I can counter charge with him and trade places and totally bother him. He's got a healer up the back. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna avoid my own advice. I'm gonna just not take my own advice. I'm gonna try and fight against the healer. We did it, but it didn't have to be so difficult. No, come back here. Ooh, cheeky. Come here, sir. Die. Now, luckily we've got the old one, the old fella here. Wow, that was a beautiful counter right there. I'm gonna come back and grab this life up. That was a beautiful counter. Well done, Mr. Archermans. I'm gonna lose a bit more life though, because we're gonna take the old remaining one guy and we're gonna talk to him because he's gonna give us a skull. So that's 10 extra fragments that we would not have otherwise had, all thanks to old dude in his bed. Fantastic. So this room is not just giving us a useless bottled embers that I don't want. I should ditch the mithril armor, actually. We're going to do the same thing as we do with skulls. I'm going to ditch... Oh, it's got courage on it, actually. No, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I've just noticed it's got courage. Thinking about inscriptions is something that you can do and should start doing at some point. In the beginning, don't worry too much about it. It gets a bit of an overload when you start trying to hunt down specific things. In the meantime, though, I'll let bottled embers slide and I'll just keep what I have. Mummy, we have the ritual staff, very nice item for the magic builds out there. I'm not that build though. Now I do see that we have about 15 to 1600 as the gold for these rare items. So if I do a reset, I may not be able to afford anything outright, but we are full on items anyway. So I have to consider, even if I do reset this and new items appear, for example, we got all these right here. Now I could take, for example, the assassin dagger for the 10% extra crit, as well as some attack speed for speed skulls. I'm not a speed skull, but if I did hypothetically want this item, I can't afford it, but I'd have to make room for it anyway. So let's just say I was going to ditch either my draft stone, my explosive ointment. It doesn't matter because the cheapest thing that I own can still sell for 352. Most expensive thing that I'm willing to get rid of is 562, and if I really wanted to, I could get rid of the 842 selling voodoo doll and more than make enough gold to purchase this, as well as make that extra slot open for the item itself. So don't feel too bad about re-rolling down to just below the limit of what you're expected to get. You can always sell things to make up for it, and always keep an eye and be mindful on how many items you have in your inventory that are destined to be sold anyway. At some point, this goes, this goes, this goes, and this goes. So I've got 4 items minimum that I could dump for a couple quick K if I really, really need to. I'm holding onto them now because, you know, better than nothing, they're doing something for me. But if their sale, if their sacrifice gets me more immediate power now that I do want for longer term, oh yeah, dude, I'd totally do that. Go ahead, do that. That's a much better idea. I'd rather have fewer items that do stuff for me than a lot of items that don't do anything for me. And of course, the game is going to troll me and throw a legendary skull pile my way. And it's, of course, the Grim Reaper. Thankfully, I did a Grim Reaper run not too long ago, so we're going to let Reapy Boy here be destroyed. 4 fragments, which also in turn means I've got enough fragments now to upgrade my warrior to legendary. Now, I'm going to say this for the last time ever. It won't be the last time ever, that's a joke. If you leave items or skulls behind on the floor, they are destroyed automatically. You can keep up with everything I've done through the run so far. I'm leaving stuff behind, like skulls, and they're being destroyed automatically. You do not lose money or skull fragments by leaving things in the rooms. Anything that's left on the ground that you didn't pick up or take or destroy, it's destroyed on its own. So you don't have to worry about it. So manually breaking the skull like I did just there, not necessary unless, you know, you're in the shop and you need to sell an item to get a quick couple of bucks like I was just talking about a second ago. But that's why I don't do it. That's why I don't do it. Now you understand. Now you know. So if I wanted to, I could keep taking skull rooms to try and find a secondary placement for Hunter. Instead, I'm going to rely more on the adventurer rooms and the shops to try and provide me something, because I really need some money. Now that my skull's upgrade path is set, I really need some cash so I can get more item power, because while we are killing things and making somewhat decent pace, it's still slower than I would like. I would like it to be a little bit faster. I was just barely not fast enough concentrating for that attack. Like I said, don't be afraid to swap out and get those extra attacks in. Sometimes your secondary skull swap alone is more than enough, and more than worthwhile enough to get some quick licks in. Bam! Get absolutely slaughtered. So right now I could sit here and smash... Well, actually, I did just sit here and smash that guy, and he did die. Ignore me. Warrior's doing a lot of damage. Good thing we did find the Reaper, because now I can go to Legendary after this Sisters fight. However, if your luck is not crazy good and you did not manage to find, you know, a lot of high rarity or Legendary skulls, stay the path. Stay the path. Just keep going if you're doing the way that I do and you're upgrading your skull first. I've had many, many, many runs where I get to Act 3 and I've still got rare or unique skulls. Get upgraded as soon as you can, or if you're doing the opposite and you're worried about money first, just take whatever you need to take. Whatever you feel you need. If you think to yourself, I need to get my skulls upgraded, just keep doing it, dude. Keep doing it. Don't worry too much about it. Oh, there we go. Nice. Utilizing this absolutely fantastic new concentration effect on Warrior to negate damage taken. The Sisters fight is the first major wall. I say this a lot. A lot of people find that the Sisters is the first thing they have an issue with. These are the light attacks. Jump the first one. The second one will automatically aim for the sky where you were. And then the third one, you jump again. Avoid this. Smack, smack. I'm going to get concentrating and start throwing an attack out there. Same deal right here. Ugh. Did I get both of them? I think I only got one. Oh, my arrow missed. Once again, she's going to throw a line. I'm going to dodge the line. You can dodge through this if you're confident in your dodging skills, or run away. Jump. I got hit because I moved towards her. It's a bad example. Ignore me. Do it again. Do it again. I need to show it better. Do it again. In fact, do it with your partner. Jump, sit, jump. All right? It's jump rope. You're playing a nice game of jump rope, you know. Too slow. But this one won't be. No, that was a bad example. Thankfully, Warrior's awesome ability to negate damage. I did it again. I did it again. I'm overthinking. Dude, I'm overthinking. Doesn't matter. Lady, I want you to live a little bit longer. You can dash this with a power skull. Power skulls can do this. No. Live a second longer. I'm now determined. I am now determined to prove to you that Okay, that's a good opportunity to get a nice little double hit. I'm going to do that. I am no longer determined. But you understand what I mean. You understand. My god, the bad examples are rife today. Us. Use his invincibility to avoid that. This attack right here is actually slow enough you can just walk around it. She won't hit you. It's the dive that's way scarier. Stay away from the lines. Don't let the lines touch you. Just keep dashing. I'm going to swap into my power boy. Bad time to do that. Smack, smack. You can dash to avoid that damage if you do it well, but I recommend sitting in an empty spot. See, look. I'm going to get a concentration ready. She's going to get slapped by it. She's still only doing the normal one. Take that. I'm waiting for her to do the waves. There we go. You can tell the waves because there's a sound effect that indicates she's building up to it, and she's slower when she comes down. Gonna use my concentration to just negate that damage. Don't have to worry about that attack. Still walking. I can just walk around this. This is not that scary. If you want, you can dash. That also works just fine. This attack is probably the least threatening move that she has in this phase. That's one of the most threatening ones because sometimes you can just get caught in a really sticky situation. Bam. Get slapped. And this, thank you for doing this. You can dash through the waves. Or you can dash away and go over the waves. But preferably dash into the waves. But if you're too close to her, you may have to go around them. There's many different ways to avoid that attack in particular. I'm going to concentrate and slap it on the way down. I'm going to concentrate again. And how about we stand in between us a line spot right here and do that instead? No, ma'am. Bam. Try me. Oh, the explosion, the TNT. No, I wanted her to come over and I was going to slap her. Look at my sword. It's still glowing, dude. Is it going to release as soon as the cutscene's over? Am I going to throw a big slash upwards? Please do it. I was stuck. Okay, had to dash out. I got stuck. Fair enough. Goldmane's Rapier. This is all about attack speed. It's about doing hits with every third. You get one of their little golden slash effects. Actually really bad for a slow skull like Warrior, who doesn't do these kinds of things at all. However, at the same time, we need to start ditching some of these things we don't want anymore. And the Explosive Ointment, I can ditch that. I can keep the Goldmane's Rapier for a second longer because 20% attack speed for a slow boy isn't the worst thing in the world. It's going to be helpful. It's not something I want to keep long term, though. Now, we come over here and we upgrade to Legendary. We have enough fragments to do so. Boom. Make the boy grow. Make him his ultimate form. Now, like I said earlier, I could take more skull rooms. For me personally, with the way that I do videos, I normally make them focused on a single skull instead of trying to break it up and make two skulls shine in the same video, which doesn't always work out that well. Someone always misses out on some time to air. However, if you want to find a secondary skull that complements your build better, like a support skull like Dark Paladin or Bomber, or you want to find a good partner for damage like a Berserker to go with your Warrior, there's all sorts of things you could do there. For me personally, I recognize that having Draftstone and a magic stick at this point is kind of silly. So I want to go and get some more money, or at the very least some good items. Scratch that, reverse it. I want to find some good items, or at the very least some more gold, so I can buy better items. Bam. I love this effect, dude. It's such a good effect. Look at that. Oh, it's so nice. Just negate damage. Negate damage. There are people out there who didn't believe me at first that Warrior's changes made him stupid good. Believe me, it does. Ninja Mask, very unique item, very cool item. Amplifying the damage that you deal from behind by 40%. Now, 40% isn't a tremendous amount, but it's just a 40% flat damage boost, so it doesn't matter who or what you are. That's just going to be good. The problem is, Warrior isn't very good at getting behind enemies, so I'm going to let that item sit behind and be destroyed. Yes, it's sad. Yes, we don't. Wow, you are destined for bad times, sir. Get slain. That nice sharp wall from behind is catching up to us slowly. I'm going to poke and jab my way through here. I'm going to get hit a little bit. I'm going to destroy that guy, and roll out. Almost touched that spike right there with my dome. Oh yeah, check this out. That upward cut has huge reach, dude. Berserker's Gauntlet, a little bit of madness to feed my attack speed. It gives me more attack speed the lower my life is, a little bit of madness on it. I don't have any other madness items to synergize with it, and I don't really feel like pushing for madness. I'm going to let it sit behind. I'm not too fussed on it. We have the Raven Monarch's Feather in the shop. Something that synergizes well with our Ancient Incense Burner, gets us more ruins for our Quintessence cooldown. However, there's no Quintessence in the shop, and I don't have one. The swap effect is not bad, though. A vortex that pulls enemies in and does magic damage. Magic damage. I don't want magic damage. I want physical damage. You could take this still. The damage on Raven's Feather is good and worth your while if you're very underpowered. For me personally, I'm not too worried about it. I'm more interested in other items. I could take these gauntlets to give me some more courage. 7-second cooldown, dash required to do it. I'm going to re-roll and try and find something better. I've got plenty of gold. On average, a legendary is selling for 2,200 and rares are going for as low as 19 and 1870. Let's do some re-rolls and find some better stuff. Aha! The Warrior's Pauldrons. I always recommend. There is a handful of really good defensive items that can make and, well, make. There's no break it. They only make runs. So Warrior's Pauldrons, Knight's Determination, Priest Staff, Wind Armor, and Dark Priest Robe. I almost fubbed the last one right there. Dark Priest Robe are all 5 really good defensive items that any combination of them, or even just one on their own, can be the difference. Now, I don't really need to get rid of my Carleon stuff just yet. I'm going to be super, super greedy. I would normally recommend ditching the staff, but I want to keep my income from these 3 gold items just a little bit longer. So I'm actually going to do the weird thing and get rid of Voodoo Doll so I can make back more money. And with that extra bit of money, after using a skill, next normal attack deals more damage. With that little bit of extra cash, I'm going to do one more reroll and look for another item to purchase. Nothing here that I want. Double Manatech Clone Stamp is kind of funny, but the majority of this isn't what I'm after, so I'm going to move ahead. Skull Room versus Money Room. Like I said, I'm not really worried about skulls anymore. Let's move into a Money Room, being the lesser of 2 evils here. And worry about doing this. Now, if I can buff up and have lots of... There we go. That ogre still slapped me, though. That kind of sucked. We get a lot of big boy damage. Now, I'm going to charge up a little bit. Oh, big man's going to come charging forward. All right. Throw it. Oh, I didn't get a chance to absorb any hits. I didn't absorb any hits. Ah, he's too slow. Just kill him. Just kill him. Don't worry about it. This guy upstairs is a no one. There are enemies. There are plenty of enemies throughout the runs, throughout your game, that aren't required. Any of these little minion dog things that get burst out of a vial, out of the big containers here, they are not considered mandatory. There are plenty of enemies like this, the giant summoned golems that these summoners bring out. They are not mandatory. They do not count. See my cursor? Follow my cursor. Over here, that's the enemy count that you've got to kill to leave the room. There's 0 enemies left that I have to kill, so I can just leave and not worry about this guy. I'm going to kill him because, you know, he's here and he's looking at me funny. But still, you don't have to. That's why the reward appeared at the end. Another Skull versus Money Room. Ugh. I see, I have to take... I was gonna say, I've made a mistake and I've not... Oh, no, it doesn't matter. I've not triggered him to walk forward. I wanted the big dude to walk forward and have a go at me, but he wasn't. Thankfully, the alchemist upstairs had my back and he's like, oh, you want me to throw a vial at you, dude? I'll throw that vial. Thank you, alchemist upstairs. Ah, here we go. Charge it up. I'm now waiting for someone to do something stupid. Thank you, sir. Beautiful. Avoid that. Now, down here, we had the reroll NPC. Just avoid these explosive dudes. If I didn't want these 2 skills, I'd re-roll it. However, Dominate has... Whoops. Dominate has really good range on it, as well as Rising Slash has tremendous, just spread area range, as you're seeing right now. I don't mind them. I don't mind them. He has really good abilities that you can use. The one that I like the least might be the jump. He has one where he leaps and he jumps forward. That's one that I don't care about too much. But for now, these abilities are fine. You don't have to waste your money if you don't want to. If there are abilities that you desire, go for it, dude. It just means you got to make that money up in other ways. But for the meantime, that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and do it. So now we move into the adventurer room. As a very small mini tip thing, something that I do a lot is whenever I move into a boss or an adventurer room, I often swap into my secondary skull initially, so that when the fight begins proper, I can get the swap ability off on my main skull, whoever it is that I'm using dominantly. So in this case, it's Warrior. So now that she's moved over here, I can swap in. And Warrior's bonus effect is actually very cool. He gains a concentration boost for a few seconds after he swaps in, and they're not being aggressive enough. The Sorcery Girl is actually known for being very lackluster with her aggression. I'm kind of relying on her to, thank you, to pepper some attacks at me, but she's being very slow, which means I don't get my big concentration quickly. Wait, this is very good. Thank you for trying to hit me. Unfortunately, she failed. Nah, just hit her. We need to interrupt that heal. Interrupt the heal, interrupt the buffs, just get rid of her. She's going to teleport away, avoid the fireballs. This is the Femme Fatale group, all the ladies. It's normally a little bit more aggressive than this, but like I said, Sorcery Girl sometimes just doesn't care about her friends. And is a big meanie. Ah, there we go. We got a whole bunch of triggers for his extra damage there. No, I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. Oh, get uppercut. Get that swing. All the ladies go down. We're on full life. Feels good. Moving over here, we have Clown. We have Imp. And we have the Ice Scale Spolders. Now, if this was someone I wanted, swap out with Hunter. You get the idea by now. However, it's not someone I want. It is an idea that if you're building a particular type of skull, like power or speed, that you try and pair them with each other in case you find the bone items. That being Mana Bone, Bone of Swiftness, and Bone of Courage. However, no power boys here for me to take as a secondary. I'm okay with Hunter for now because what I really want to do is get a quintessence or another item to sell. Quintessence isn't really up my alley. It's a lot of magic damage. It's the M trio. And Ice Scale Spoilers is more of a dash build. So instead of wasting this opportunity, I'm just going to sell the spoilers and get that 420 gold. More gold, more opportunities to get better items when we get to the next room. I'm going to swap out and get a swap in onto Warrior, same as I do with most boss and adventurer rooms. I have the time to worry about it because I'm going to tell you again, look at this. Skull room, item room. Take the item room, right? I've got my Warrior's Pauldrons in the front. They're going to protect me from any damage taken from the front while they're active. Very, very handy. Very, very useful. Boom. Get that big uppercut. Or even hit the Alchemist behind us. The range on this is despicable, my sir. Despicable. Absolutely beautiful attack. One of his best ones now, actually. Never used to like it that much. The range was always good, but now that he's had this big buff and he's a lot better now. Oh, yeah, dude. You best believe. He avoided it. What a legend. If I'd used my big uppercut attack, it would have done something, but no. This is always a tricky one. People hate doing this little jumping puzzle thing here, and they always take a lot of damage. I agree. It's a bit tricky. You know, practice, get used to it. You know, you'll eventually get there. It'll be okay. Brawler's Knuckle, 25% physical damage and 7% crit, and a little bit of extra Miser. So this actually synergizes with our Colleen Insignia with the inscription, but also gives us good damage, good crit. Overall, fantastic item. So I'm going to get rid of the basic stuff. I know I'm losing some Carlan synergy, but this slot is effectively doing nothing but giving us an extra 30 gold every time we walk into a new room. It's finally time to say goodbye to it and get some actual power coming in. We need more damage, dude. We need more damage. Destroy that. Come down here. I'm going to move into the middle. I'm going to start charging up. Bam. I don't need a full charge because all those dudes are actually quite fast. They're quite fast and scary and spooky, and they're going to hurt me, dude. Now, this particular room here, you could sit in the middle and fight, or dash out. There's nothing saying you gotta stay. You can actually dash past these traps. Look at that. I'm just gonna dash through, dude. I don't have to stay here and deal with this. I'm just gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave, dude. However, doesn't stop the fact that you gotta come in and fight them eventually. But it is nice to get rid of the annoying alchemists on the sides trying to throw potions at you, right? That's always just a nice little treat. I'm going to swap to Hunter real quick, just in case I find a secondary skull. We have the Hero's Holy Sword. Very good for dash builds. Not that good for a build that likes to sit still and concentrate for a second. There's no way to really dash and get that benefit. So I'm going to let that be destroyed. Aha! However, it wouldn't be one of my videos unless something questionable and very shenanigan-esque happened. The Thieves' Black Steel Dagger. Now, the Thieves' Black Steel Dagger, contrary to popular belief, is not fantastic on Warrior, because of the way that his concentration works. In the time it takes him to concentrate and sometimes get his attack to go off, you've lost the buff. In addition to that, I'm just not going to take what I would regard as probably one of the best, if not the best items in the game. I'm just going to let that sit there and not take it. Thief Armor is very dependent on my attack speed and being able to throw out regular attacks. I'm also not doing many of those. I've got to make my build in accordance to what I'm good at, and what I'm good at is very big, slow, charged up hits. Not very fast, speedy, constant hits, which is what both those items want to do. I don't have a quintessence, however, so if I'm not going to take those items downstairs, Flame Dragon is a decent pick, does physical damage. We've got some synergy with the Ancient Incense Burner. This item is finally pulling some weight, and it's no longer just extra health, it's doing something else for me. I've got some money to spare, so let's re-roll it out. Bet you never thought you'd see me do that, right? I'm going to re-roll it again, nothing I want to see there. We're seeing a lot of items I don't care about. Now, if I re-roll, looking at my numbers, I'll go down to, like, 2,700. I can afford to do another one. Man, they're really keen on the madness today, aren't they? Fighter's Belt has Demolition. Demolition is very good. Do I have any Demolition already? No, I don't. So I'd be starting Demolition, but even worse than that, Fighter's Belt's not a great item, so I don't care. We're just going to leave and move on. Gold Room. Let's go Gold Room. Move into here. Bam, bam. Start bullying some dudes. Fun fact for you, a lot of these enemies in this room will die to natural causes. What do I mean by that? I mean that they will quite literally not attack me very much for a start. Wow, that was a cleave and a half. But all these dudes up here die to that purple ball that's glowing that will fly around and deal damage to them. So you can kind of just jump down and deal with the bottom and not worry about the top. If you want to wait, you can. You actually can. I don't like waiting forever and ever for a magical glowing sphere to come around and take care of the enemies for me. I'll just wait here and let you see that this ball does in fact do damage to them. Look at that. Oh, just barely not dead. I'll help you out. I'll finish the job for you. And then we can come down here. And yeah, you don't have to worry about it, dude. Let the environment do some of the work for you if you need it to. Now, we're going to do a 2-in-1. I'm going to summon my dragon. I'm going to get a full concentration built up. And I'm going to swang and do big damage. We're going to get rid of... Ooh, we're going to get rid of that summoner real quick. So no big golem gets brought out. Utilize these guys' explosive force to take themselves out. One dies. Normally it chains, the rest go. Don't care about surprise box. This is actually a really good run for showcasing how it's not always rigged, dudes. And how you can still do well if you don't have broken builds. In fact, nothing here is particularly good. Even Dragon is only so-so for the most part. But yeah, this is actually really, really plain and vanilla. Coming into the fight with Hunter already out so I can get that nice swap into Warrior. We're going to do a 2-fold attack. I'm going to come in here and get concentrating. And we're going to activate Dragon and get a big swing with our Warrior. Another big swing. Dragon's going to do some work for us. Swap into the Hunter, get some shots off. Stand in between the sludge. I'm going to swap real quick and get this going. Start concentrating. Do something. Try and... Oh, she's going to try and roll me away. There we go. That's a nice big hit. Absorb a whole bunch of slime. I'm not going to try and dash in through all that, though. Alright, we got nasty poisons coming down at me. I can avoid damage with that. Oh, she's going to jump back in a second, isn't she? Yep, okay. Swap out to Hunter just to get some extra dash viability in. Bring out the dragon, dash through all the nasty slimes. And get ready to do an uppercut when she does her stomp. There's a lot that you can do depending on what kind of skull you're using. And that also means standing still because you're in a very poor spot. Absorb the hits. Bam, poke her in the face. Ooh, I'd love to stand under that slime and get my concentration to go off with my big hits. Unfortunately, that's a silly idea at this point in time. Swap to Hunter preemptively so I can do this. And get through there. Ah, here we go. I'm going to concentrate and use it for the stomp. Bam, nice 1200 crit. Nice. Taken care of. And look at that, we're on full life. You wouldn't think that, right? Bone of Courage. Finally, something good. Now, I regret not taking that demolition item before. Bone of Courage is the bone that I was telling you about regarding having multiples of the same type. So, I think it's finally time to get rid of the insignia. The only other item that's synergizing with it is the sword. It's not worth taking up an entire slot for 60 gold. Let's get rid of the insignia, giant health that we don't need. And now my quest is on. I need to have enough money to buy good items, but also find a power skull. Now, the issue with that is taking skull rooms is never a guarantee. If I take a bunch of skull rooms and I keep getting balance and speed skulls, I don't need fragments, so it's effectively wasted rooms. But if I get a second power boy, the effectiveness of the Bone of Courage goes up a lot. From 40 to 80% is a big chunk of difference. The real question is, do I want to start doing that, or am I going to rely on the adventurer rooms to give me what I need, or the shop to give me what I need? I'm going to keep taking item rooms for now, is the way that I'm going to treat this. And they're all dying to the dragon. Lovely. Little kamikaze dude's going to run at me. Bam. Try me. Nice. Stupid tentacle just slapped me. How dare you, little spankaroo. Stop it. I'm going to take the item rooms. I'm going to grab as many of these nice items as possible. Manatech Circulator. Using skills decreases all cooldowns by 1 second every 4 seconds. Plus some Manatech and some Mirage. Not bad, to be honest. It's not a bad little item. And right now, I'm kind of over my Draftstone. Draftstone is in Area 4. This is dumb. It shouldn't be here. Absorb hits and miss with hits because I'm not absorbing fully. Because I'm trying not to get hit. Doesn't matter. Take care of these dudes. Take care of these dudes. I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to full charge this. And kill the guy upstairs. Lovely. Look at that. Lovely. Get rid of the problem. I don't know why he wasn't shooting orbs at me, though. He really should have been. Die. That's what you get for hitting me, dude. Oh, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake. My Warrior's Pauldron saving my life. Dash out the way of that. These little closed-in spaces can be spooky, but, you know, it's not that bad once you get used to it. I see a slime. Now, the slime NPC is a lot of fun. He's been nerfed technically from being able to rig what he decides to duplicate. But the rule with the slime, the new rule with the slime, is because he can duplicate anything in your inventory and make a second of it, don't have anything in your inventory that you don't plan to keep. Because what's the use in getting 2 mithril armors if I don't want the first one in the first place? So I'm going to get rid of that. I don't want 2 gold main rapiers, even though it would be kind of funny. It's not good for a warrior build. Let's see. Do I want this? Yes, yes, yes. I wouldn't mind 2 of these. It's not great, but I wouldn't mind it. 2 warriors pauldrons, sign me up. 2 ancient incense burners, more dragon power, cool. 2 priestesses veils, fine, dude. I'm okay with all of these. What you should do also is check the end of the room. If it's an item room, you might get an item, or not. You might get an item that you would like to see duplicated. If that was, for example, something like a gunpowder sword or a priest's robe, you know, something really good. Don't jump the gun and go straight to the slime too quickly. You can always check and see what is on offer. However, it's salamander. We don't want salamander. So I'm going to talk to the slime now and get him to duplicate my items. I'm going to cross my fingers for... I actually don't know. Not many of those items are Bone of Courage, obviously, but... Priestess's Veil. Okay. I'll take the double Priestess's Veil. So now we have 2 of them doing good work. Now, in addition to their effects being doubled up, we have 2 Leonia and 2 in Spring. So we get more HP recovery from finding healing things. And we recover a little bit of life every time we move into a new map. Aha! This is a good chance to try this out. Now, besides destroying this, we have a gold room and we have a skull room. Gold room is just gold. It's whatever. You know, it's nice. But I'm going to take a gamble and try and find another power boy so that we can boost the effectiveness of our bones of courage. That was weird. Lot of damage coming at me right there, but I wanted to get a full charge. I was being super greedy, dude. Nice. Big damage. Big damage. Almost jumped back into that slam. Like a stupid. I would deserve it if I were to die there, I'm afraid. Die. Nice. Nice. I'm trying to avoid the statues at the same time. I'm trying my best to weave between the statues and get some concentrations off. I want to get the big ones off. You really should move further away when doing that and, like, wait for them to come to you. But you know me, I'm being really greedy with it, dude. So I'm gonna play a fun game with these guys. I'm gonna play bait the grabby boy into... Wow! That was like the coolest counter back attack ever. It was like, oh, you trying to come after my behind? No, I'm gonna slap you as you jump at me. Die now, please. This is why we need more damage. Our damage is a little bit lackluster. Unique skull pile. Yay! We got lucky. It's a power boy. Predator, no less. It was actually a really good compliment to this. I don't need to get fragments to upgrade him to legendary because he's strong enough on his own to carry his own weight. He's come with the spinning ambush and hack ability. Hack is my favorite predator ability. It's very, very, very good. Spinning ambush. It's not my favorite, but it does the job. More or less, I'm getting him for the power of the Bone of Courage. Now, in the shop proper. None of this. I see some returning phases. We want to re-roll this. No, I don't care about any of those. Re-roll this. Ah, the axe. Fantastic. We get a little bit more demolition. We get some extra physical damage. And swapping to power skulls will send nearby enemies flying away with physical damage. It's kind of like the slightly weaker version of Raven's Feather, but for physical boys. So I'm going to pick this up. We've got some room after selling our stuff. Fantastic. Come over here and look at how much I can re-roll for. 1430. Yikes. That's going to put me down pretty low, sons. And given that rares are selling for in the high 23s, I'd have to sell a fair bit of stuff. I've already sold things just before we did the slime reroll, and I don't really want to sell more of what I've got just yet. So I'm just going to take what I've got with that particular purchase right there and move on. But now that we have our predator, I don't have to worry as much about finding a power boy. So we can get away with just going after money or item rooms for the remainder of the run. Now, I'm actually going to stand about here, which is a terrible place to stand as it happens, because all these fireballs are going to get me. Because I wanted to land near the archer so that he would shoot at me and I would get my concentration. No! I've goofed! My plan was foiled like a leftover dinner. My god. Okay, let's just kill this dude and we'll try again. How about we try that again? Let's do it again. Worst case scenario, I suffer a lot of injury. Ow. 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 Yeah, you really should stand near the edges of the area when doing this, by the way. Like, don't stand where I was standing. Stand at the far corner and stay away. I got 7 stacks of bad stuff as a result of my transgressions. Foolish of me, I know. Alright, we're gonna stand here and start concentrating. He's coming at me a lot faster than I expected. Just kill him. Boom. Take care of that. Money! And we have another item room. Give me the item room. Give me the item room. Dun 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 dun. Look at all these dudes. Swing at me so that I may destroy you all. Die. Die. Hang on. If I come over here. Aha! There they are. I was gonna say. Some candle throwing bros are gonna be in my way in a second. I just know they will. Let's get some predator action into here, huh? Let's get some hack going as well. I keep forgetting to do my swaps. I've actually got a semi-decent secondary skull to actually do stuff with this. Getting our swap in gives us our new axe effect, and it also lets us take advantage of warriors' increased concentration on swap-ins. Explodey bomby dudes, we don't care about the explodey bomby dudes. We can actually let them kill themselves and just avoid them entirely. Avoid the tentacles, they don't count towards needing to be killed. While it does have courage, I'm not really keen on the wheel right now. I am doing some swaps though. Maybe courage wouldn't be too bad with the wheel. Maybe I could get away with it. You know what? For the meme, for no other reason than the meme, let's get rid of the Manatech Circulator. It's not a great trade. You should keep the Circulator. I'm doing this for the video because people are gonna wanna see some wheel coming out. Let's see a little bit of wheel action. You guys get what you want. Ah, the Thief, the Ninja Boy. One of the more annoying ones to catch. Not as bad as the Sorceress, but definitely the squishiest guy. You can definitely do a lot of damage to this fella if he's in a bad spot. Like that. Get hit, son. Oh, he's gonna do his little... Fine. He's gonna do hand signs on me, dude. Gang signs, gang signs. So we're gonna swap into Predator and do a lot of damage back. And then I'm gonna charge this up and get a really cool cinematic finish on him. If he will do something. He was gonna go for his ultimate, so I had to finish him there. I had to end him right. Throw the pommel at him. No! Okay, so the Reaper has shown up twice in the same run just to mess with me. This is beyond pain. Wisp is a fantastic quintessence that works with the majority of the cast. There's only a few exceptions, like Champion, I think. And that might be it, actually. Champion doesn't have any cooldowns on his ability, so it does nothing for him. But Wisp is a fantastic quintessence. Double Blizzard Clone Stamp. Nothing here really good. If I did care about getting Predator to Legendary, this is a good way to start by getting us up into, you know, the over... Well, no, actually, it would get me straight to 80. And I wouldn't have that much trouble finding a unique to get him to Legendary from there, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay the path. I'm going to try and get some more money so that we can get some better items long term. Hello, Wheel. I didn't get a chance to see you in that fight. Would have been nice. We would have killed that guy even faster. Take care of these dudes. I'm going to wait a second for you to do your thing. I'm going to sit here and concentrate. He's going to glow. I'm going to throw the attack out there. I kind of did that prematurely, but doesn't matter. I'm not going to do my left trigger button right now because I will send myself off the edge. And the less ammunition I give my viewers to make fun of me for falling in holes, the better. Wow, okay, the game is... I'm getting a lot of duplicates here. Voodoo Doll again? Okay, no Voodoo Doll. Leave the Voodoo Doll alone. Drop down into here, into... Oh, yes, one of our... It's one of our favorite rooms! It's the farming room that I always farm in. Yay! I'm just gonna start dicing my way through these dudes. Dicing like a vacuum. Bam. I'm gonna slap this dude in the face for no better reason than just because he's there looking at me funny. Aha! The wheel is loose! The wheel is loose! I'm gonna start destroying these little totems so that I can start killing the summoner girls. Making my way downtown. Slap, 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 slap. Avoid the nonsense. Swap out. Charge up. Take a swing, little dude. Thanks for the help. Thanks for the help. Nice. And then I can probably just kill her with a swap here. Wow, she did die from the swap. She was sent airborne. Don't care about the bow. If you care about getting your stacks brought down from the fountain, take the fountain, but I have no stacks, so it doesn't matter. Slap, slap, get rid of that guy. I didn't need to, but he's looking at me funny. Come in here, we have the Pot of Greed. Fantastic. The Pot of Greed. For every legendary we have, whether it be a skull, an item, a quint, doesn't matter. If you own it and it's legendary, 15% more power. This is why maybe getting Predator legendary would have helped, but it doesn't matter, dude. It doesn't matter. So as far as legendary things go, we have the Warlord, and that's quite literally it. We don't have any other legendary items, no legendary quint. That's it. So Pot of Greed does include itself, so at the very, 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 very least, it's a 15% boost. But we'd get 30% because I have Warrior, and I'd have to rely on the fact that I would eventually, maybe, hopefully, kind of, sort of find some more stuff. But 30% at this point is still good. I could get rid of one of my Priestess's Veils. I don't really want to ditch my raw damage items like my sword, my fist, or my axe. Bone of Courage is very useful for its effect on double power boys that we've managed to work towards, not getting rid of that. The Wheel would be my obvious pick to get rid of, but the meme. What I could do is ditch the Ancient Incense Burner and rely less on my dragon. But that comes down to preference and whatever kind of quintessence you have. My dragon's pretty good. It does a decent job for me. And the 35 extra life and the heart and the ruins, it's all really nice. So I'm going to get rid of one of the Priestess's Veils instead. Ditch the Veil. Don't need to sell it right now, but I'm going to. Don't care about those items. Reroll. There's the Mana Bone. There's the Hero Sword again. I could just barely get away with one more reroll, and we have, the Gunpowder Sword. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a butt ton of crit, but I don't care. I don't care if I don't have a lot of crit. Gunpowder Sword is one of the best items in the game, bar none. It's right up there with Thief's Blacksteel Dagger. They go together so well, it's not funny. Getting this is just nice. We don't have a lot of power on our side, so I'm going to go for it. The second Priestess's Veil, I mean, if I sold the first one for the Pot of Greed, I'm just going to sell the second one for the Gunpowder Sword. You don't need to do that. Sell the Wheel if you need to. I'm going to move on. We're effectively broke. It's time to replenish our stock. We need more stuff again. Wheel's going to come out and do some running over for me. Thank you, Mr. Wheel. I'm going to charge this up. She's going to turn that guy into a tentacle, which... weird decision, you know, odd. Why would you turn your one follower into a tentacle, dude? Like that's just strange. I don't agree. I don't agree with that decision. He was doing stuff for you. He was throwing things at me. He was being useful. Okay, had to do a cut, had to go out and do some stuff. It's literally been like an hour and a half since I made this cut. It's gonna be like close to seamless for you guys, but for me, I'm coming back to this run after being away for a bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know where my train of thought was going before I cut, so if this makes no sense, I apologize. But we are back in it. We are still swinging. We are still pinging, dinging, and doing the good stuff with our warrior run. What do we have in this right here? Stone of the Air, magic, good item, not good. Well, it's a good magic item, but it's also not very good even if you are a magic build at this point in the run anyway. So, I mean, it's about as good as a useless Stone of the Air for a physical build can possibly be. Let me get a bit of damage on this guy here. Can I kill him? Not quite. We're not doing much damage when we don't have any counter hits activating along with. We gotta try and get more. I can even bait these guys into lunging into the Dragon Fire. This is why I wanted to keep my Ancient Incense, because the Dragon Flame is actually doing some work for us. It's doing some good work for us. I need to bait the little dude. There we go. Bait the little guy into doing an attack so that I can get some extra charges. Thank you. Big hit. Didn't quite kill them all. Sad for me. Bam. Take that. We're still looking good on life, though, all things considered. Like, that's the weird part, right? Weird part is that we're still looking pretty good for HP. I forgot that we had Predator, actually. My goodness. We have Halfling Girl down here. People are gonna get mad if I don't free her. I understand. I understand. I'll free... Damn, this cage is strong. Hello? Predator was going in on this thing. How many chops does it take to break a cage? Another item room. Let's go. More items, more money, more cash. Take care of all these dudes. The funny part is the build... I don't want to say the build is finished or complete. Far from it. But at the very least... Come on. Nice. Still not enough to kill that guy in one hit, though. The build, like I said, not done, not finished, but it's probably about as close as we can get it at this point. Oh, yeah, I forgot we've got the axe doing some work for us. I forgot we had the axe doing some work for us. There we go. The wheel's getting stuck. Bam. Destroy it. Knock some life out of these mams at the same time. Fantastic. Now, like I said before, there's always a bunch of guys that don't count towards leaving the room. I don't have to turn around and fight those dudes. But you can if you're after a little bit more quartz, just to really squeeze the last bit out as possible. Or a little bit more gold, you know, things like that. Unfortunately, given how much money we have left and how much we'll have before we get to the shop, we may not be able to buy anything anyway. So the build looks like it might be done with this, which is a very, very plain, very basic, very vanilla, nothing too broken here kind of build. Gunpowder sword triggering is probably the best thing that we have going for us right now, next to the 1 bone of courage. But we don't have a lot of crit, so gunpowder's not going to trigger too much. But you know what? May as well take it, because whenever Predator comes out, he should have a pretty decent chance to crit, given how many times he swings on average with all of his attacks. We're going to start by dropping a dragon here. Throw some damage. I don't know why I always go left, by the way. If you're curious, I have no idea. I don't do it on purpose, but I do like to favor the left side. If I can get some of these attacks to come down on top of me. Thank you. That's lovely damage. Thank you very much. Let me get some hack in here. Bam, 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 bam. Break one. Run to the opposite side. I was going to start my my charge, and it didn't want to happen. I can get another dragon going. Look at that. Bam. Get some. Uh-oh. Stop that for a second. Come down, do this. Boom. And we break it. Oh, I didn't want to break it on the swap, actually. I wanted to break it a second after, because I want to swap into warrior and get my charge going. Thankfully, I've got enough time. Now I start doing this. Hit me with something, ma'am. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Oh, I mean, it didn't work for a lot, but it did something. I'll get the dragon out. There we go. Look at all this absorption happening. I'll start to charge. Now we just need to wait. Do a thing, Joan. Yeah, that's nice and all. Here we go, beam. No. Aim the beam at me. Good enough. Yeah, it could have been better. Right? It could have been bigger. It could have been better. We all know it could have. Oh, that would have been cool too if I could have stood in the purple for a second. I'm trying to get these cheesy big warrior hits, but it's not going to be simple apparently. Alright, I'm going to activate now just to immune through the laser beam, because the laser beam is threatening to do a lot of damage to me. Hello, Joan. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got some damage. We got something out there. Oh. Throw it. Ah, could have been bigger. Could have been bigger. Like I said, it's not about doing insane, disgusting warrior damage. It's just about getting through it. Raven Monarch's Feather. Now, is there anything at the very end of this run that I can honestly say it's time to say goodbye? I mean, not really. Everything's kind of okay. If I take the feather, we get another stack of Pot of Greed, though, which is pretty worth it long term, I would say. I might go as far as to get rid of the Ancient Incense burner so that we can focus more on our own damage instead of the dragon. Now, that's just me being picky. There's any other number of things you could do here. You could argue get rid of the Warrior's Pauldrons so that you have less defense and more offense if you're worried about doing damage. If it was me doing a real, like, one of my Beelzy style runs, I'd probably do that and get rid of the Warrior's Pauldrons, because I'm pretty comfy with the fact that Warrior is a very defensive type of counter-attacky skull to begin with, right? And I don't need to worry too much. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you. About his longevity. Because he's very good at it to begin with, right? But you might be someone who thinks, okay, I would like to keep a hold of some of these defensive items. I'm still relatively new to the game. I don't have the same level of knowledge or confidence as some of the others, and I would like to be safe in my decisions. And that's a really smart play, and you should do that. Of course, Thieves' Black Steel Dagger shows up for the second time this run, just to taunt me. I could sell something for it. That's the funny part. I could sell off a thing and take it, but... See, if I did, now that I have Predator with Hack, it would do a lot more damage. And realistically, I should sell the Warrior's Pauldrons for it, but I'm not going to, because the purpose of this run is to show off... I should go and get the food at the very least. Grabbing a food buff before the end. Oh, it's not even a good food buff. Nah, forget it. Let's just do a reroll and see what could have been. Eh, it's not too good anyway. This run was very plain. Very, very deprived of the broken shenanigans, which is actually really good for my demonstration. So I'm okay with that. There you go. You're seeing the gunpowder sword doing some work for us as we move our way through here. Take some of that. I like how this dude got sent upstairs thanks to our feather, and I had to deal with him upstairs. You can actually like try and cheese your way up there. I tried doing that ages ago when this when the final version came out, but it doesn't do anything for you. Oh, look where we are, dudes. Look what time it is. Thanks. Good stuff. Watching. Yay. Etc. etc. You know, good tidings to people and stuff, etc. Boom. Absolute deliciousness, dude. It's yummy. I like it. I like it. Bam. Oh, feels good. Feels good. I can't wait to get one of those really busted warrior runs. I want to get the double bone of courage run on warrior with all the demolition stuffs. I've been chasing that kind of a build for a long time. Got it with the ghoul run, the last ghoul run. Go check that if you haven't seen it yet. But I do want it on the warrior. Now the hero fight. It's time to do some hero fight. We start off in Predator with some of that shield on us. I might come forward and do a little bit of hack after his initial attack. He normally always likes to start with a slam, it seems. Alright, now he's gonna dash forward and do stuff. I'm gonna do this. Absorb the hit. Hit him back. Take that, dude. Swap out. Do some of this. He's going to come down here on the spot so I can get the dragon set up, actually. Rock the dragon. Hit me. Thank you. Ow. Those other hits were not appreciated. Take that. And now he starts doing this. I'm going to swap out to the Predator because he has better dashes. He's going to do the flash dash. Flash dash. I got tagged by one of them because I wasn't paying attention. I got tagged again. Of course, of course. The one time when I'm trying to explain stuff with my build, I'm not paying attention to what's happening on the screen. And dodge all of that. Now, the first phase is easily the phase that I think should be the most trouble for most players. The second phase, to me, is a lot easier. I've said this a few times. Because the reason for this is that in the second phase... Oh, I did that way too early. Oh, I did that way too early. We'll get most of the fire on, though. Reason being is that to me, in the second phase, he has more consistency, you know? Is he missing? Sir, I would appreciate if you didn't miss with your attacks. Nah. And to me, it's just a bit easier to dodge him these days in his phase 2. Wait until he uses all of his swords. Really? You're doing this? Oh, he's going to try and land on me? Ah. Odd. There we go. Being really odd, Mr. Hero, dude. There's some weird things happening in this fight right now. It's like there's like some sort of weird delay. I messed up. There's like some weird delay stuff going on. Just immune through that. Don't mind me. Oh, I messed up. I did it just a little bit too early. I was going to try and hit him on the way down. Avoid that. Swap out and let the shield absorb a hit for me. Bam. Take that. Warrior is such a better Skul now since the update. It's actually incredible how easy it is to just walk through a run as long as you know how his mechanic works and how to do it. Check out the main warrior run if you're curious about how he works. I didn't explain the Skul himself very much. It's more about the build and just decision making along the way. Here, hit him with some of this. Sorry, dude. I've got my warrior's pauldrons in the front right now. It's kind of making a joke out of you. There we go. Down he goes. Easy peasy. Wheel even took off on me right there. Sometimes you'll pick a Skul and the game won't give you good items for it. And then sometimes you'll get really good items and then not find the right thing to suit it. It's the nature of the beast. It's all RNG. But, you know, sometimes if the game gives you a little bit of physical leeway here and there and you find like a Berserker or a Predator or even a nice Warrior, maybe try that run out. Even if it's a Skul that you're not used to playing or not really fond of, give it a whirl and you might learn something new. But with all of that said and done, I've got to get out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this fun little excursion and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.